Halo CD Bestie, aku Taka Perry. Check out my interview with CreativeDisc, the #1 music website in Indonesia.
Hello, CD Bestie. Welcome back to Creative Disc exclusive interview with me, Luthfi. And right now we have a special guest. He's coming from Australia, but I think like he's like a kind of like have a Japanese mishap in his name. I think he's already got so many produce with so many good artists such as Ruel, and my favorite one is Syrup from Japan. Is like the R&B thing, the R&B artist that have a groove in Japan, and he's got a very, very big name he produced on. So without further ado, this is my guest today on Creative Disc exclusive interview. This is Taka
What's
Perry.
good?
Yeah. How's you doing?
Yeah,
How's you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm here in Tokyo at the moment,
Oh,
and
wow.
I've been living here maybe for the last month,
Hmm?
and it's been great. I'm enjoying the day-to-day life of working with different artists and
Hmm?
releasing music, producing music. Yeah.
So how's Tokyo in this moment right now?
Yeah, well, maybe until 2 weeks ago, it was very hot, like very, very hot summer. And it's just cooled down, so now it's a little nicer to go outside
Hmm?
and check out different places. But outside of that, like I came here for the music, obviously, first and foremost. And it's just an amazing energy working with different artists and obviously a lot of hip hop, but artists like Syrup as well, like you mentioned, one of my good friends. And yeah, just yeah, enjoying making music every day here.
So okay, let's talk about your new latest single called actually you have already two new single called Express and Believe. Am I
Yes.
correct? Can you tell me the detail of that song?
Yeah, so both of those songs, well, Express to start with, that's the first single from the album that Leon Banarakis and I are working on. So we've been working on music for maybe the last 3 years,
Mm,
and it kind of got to a point where we had 9 or 10 songs that felt really good, and we weren't really sure what to do with it.
mm.
So we just decided, let's put out an album. And so Express was the first one. It was sort of a little introduction to everyone of the sound that we've been working on. And that was really awesome to put that out and, get a lot of nice comments and feedback on it. And most recently, we've just put out the second single, which is Believe, which is obviously with Leon as well, but we've got Ramengvrl from Indonesia,
Ooh,
Sokodomo from South Korea,
yeah.
and YNG Marta from Australia. So it's a very global kind of collaborative hip hop song with 4 languages and just a lot of fun with everyone.
So how's working with a ramen girl? Because our
She's
Indonesian finest.
Yeah, she's awesome. Like
Mm,
I connected with her online at the
mm,
start of this year. I'd been, obviously listening to her music for a while, knew about her. So I just sent her a message on Instagram,
mm,
said hi, da 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 da, would love to work on some stuff. And then I sent through a whole bunch of beats
mm.
at the start of the year. And one of those, just recently, she releases her single. It's called Want Me Back.
Yes.
And that was really great to kind of work on that remotely with her. And at the same time, I was working on Believe.
Mm,
And at that point, I'd already made the song with Leon in Tokyo. I was in Seoul where I recorded the verse with Sokodomo,
mm,
and then I was in Los Angeles where I recorded the verse with YNG Martyr.
mm.
And it was feeling really good, but I just thought if Ramen Girl jumped on it, it would like add, obviously a whole nother vibe and language to it. So I just messaged her, I've got this song that I'm working on with
Mm.
these guys. Would you be keen on jumping on it? And then a little while after, she sent through her verse.
Mm.
And then that's kind of when I knew the song was done and ready to release.
This is interesting because I think like you work with so many musicians in many countries, especially in Asian countries and Australia countries too. What's like what does it feels like to working with so many people in so many countries with, I think, like different culture background?
Yeah. The different culture is a huge thing, and it's actually one of my favorite reasons why I kind of work across so many countries is that
Mm,
I love being able to go to places and immerse myself in
mm,
the different cultures in different
mm,
countries. And that sort of, I don't know, is really inspiring for my creativity, and obviously being around different food and
mm.
different language and whatnot. It's yeah, it's just a lot of fun. I don't know how else to put it.
But is it like challenging for you at first?
Sometimes, yeah. I think
Mm,
obviously when you're starting to, build a name in a new territory, you
mm,
know, people might know you from some of the overseas works that you've done, but you
mm.
haven't really, you know, done any songs within
Mm.
that country. But music's becoming more and more international, and
Yeah.
there's, Japanese musicians working with Korean musicians, working with Indonesian musicians. So at least within Asia, I think everyone's sort of aware of what's
Mm,
happening in the other countries. And so once you sort of, have some songs released with some artists, and,
mm.
you have some mutual friends and, connections between artists, it becomes a bit easier to reach out to new people and try to get collaborations going.
So, what's your biggest reason to what's your biggest reason for you to produce with so many artists in different country? What's the biggest motivation for you?
Um, well, firstly, I love making music. Like if
Mm,
I'm not making music, I'm like restless. And
mm,
uh so that's one simple reason. I also just love
mm,
the fact that I get to, connect and make so many different friends in so many different parts of the world, and
mm,
be able to go to different countries and, link up, and not just, get into the studio, but go out with different friends. And
mm,
it's very much like not just a job, but it's part of my whole life,
mm,
the people,
mm,
like the friends that I have through music are the friends
mm,
that I have outside of music. So there's no real line there for
mm.
me.
Okay, so you're a producer. You're a producer first, and you are you are a producer first. And what's the thing? What's the first thing eureka moment that you want to decide that, oh, I want to go to become a producer?
Well, it was probably around when I was 11 or 12. So I was in
Really?
high. Yeah,
Damn.
I was playing in a lot of like rock and heavy
Uh,
metal bands in
huh?
school. Yeah, that's where I kind of started producing music, heavy metal, yeah. And at that time I played guitar, and I
Mm,
wanted to be a rock star. I also played bass guitar, I also played
mm,
piano, drums,
mm,
and I wanted to like combine all of those instruments on my own. And so if I was able to record and produce music, then I could essentially be a one-man band. So when I was 12,
mm.
my parents bought me a recording software for my birthday,
Oh
and
wow.
I got really I got really addicted to it. I was just learning how to produce like it was a video game, after
Mm,
school every day, all
mm.
night sort of thing. And I think ever since that moment, I've really that's all I've wanted to do.
So, why you want to choose yourself as man behind the desk rather than in front of the desk, in front of the people?
Yeah, it's funny because most of the time I am
Mm,
I am behind the desk, and
mm,
sometimes like now
yeah.
I also do enjoy the whole artist side of things. But
Mm,
I think at the end of the day, it's just all about, making good music.
mm,
I've never really put too much thought or effort into, being famous, or,
mm,
being recognizable. My ideal sort of
mm,
long-term life is to just be able to make music and enjoy my daily life
mm.
as well. So yeah.
So like how's in your opinion, what's the difference between yourself as a producer and yourself as an artist?
Well, I guess like there's obvious differences. If I'm producing other people's songs, I
Mm,
don't really involve myself in the marketing or the release side of the song, or,
mm,
deciding what the music videos look like. So in that aspect, when I am just producing other people's records, it's just all about the music, which is which is great. But on the other side, when I am, putting my own music out, I'm a lot more involved and often coming up with all the ideas for the album art, the shows, the music videos, and that's really fun because I don't get to use that part of my creative mind as often producing music.
Okay, so in all of your discography, you are producing a lot of songs. I recently see your Spotify like produced by Taka Perry, and it's a lot. It's a lot. Like how you fuel that creative energy because you've got so many songs in your hand to like how's your fuel?
Yeah, I guess for me, one thing is I produce a lot of different genres. So
Yes, yes.
hip hop is one of my big genres, but R&B,
Mm.
pop, as well as K-pop more recently.
Yes.
And I think when I am able to go between different genres, it means I don't have to. If I'm out of ideas in one genre, then I'm still got new ideas in a different genre. So that's one thing. I also think for me at least, like I try to listen to a lot of new music as much as possible, because that's kind of like the fuel of what gives me new inspiration or ideas. And then I guess also it's I think increasingly I'm finding out how important it is to have a healthy lifestyle and routine outside of music, because the better I feel in my everyday life when I wake up, the better I can make music and work with different artists.
Okay. So what's your first software that you use when you are making music?
My first software, it's Persona Studio One, which is still around, but that was back in 2012, so ancient by now. And now I use another program called Ableton Live.
Yeah. What's the preset that you use in the past, but you seldom to use it? You really use it.
Oh, there's so many, honestly, like because I've been producing music, since I started producing music, it's been about 12 years, so I've gone through so many different
Yes.
eras of using this synth and then not using it and then using this, and there's been so many music programs or instruments that are no longer available that were available when I first started. Sometimes I might come back to an old sound and reintroduce it into my current sounds.
Yes.
But yeah, there's a lot. I think when I like kind of listen to the songs that I've released over the course of my career, I can sort of hear like different trends, or like I was using that snare a lot over this period, and then I found this snare from this sample pack, and the real evolution. It's probably stuff that only I will really ever notice.
So what's your favorite preset when you are making music? Your
My
very favorite.
favorite preset. I don't know if it's a preset, but there's this one kick drum, right? This one kick drum sample that I've probably maybe used in about 60% of the songs I've produced for the last 2 or 3 years, because like you think of like the meme of like a producer sitting in the studio,
Yes.
right? And then every now and then you find one that's like, that's great. And then so it's just like so many times I'll start making a song and I'll be looking for a kick, but if I go back to that same kick, it just hits the right way every time. So
but I think that's very funny because I think like the magic of producing something, I think that the preset is like the same all over again, but sometimes you could like find a magic in the in the repetition, I think.
yeah, I think so. And like I might take that kick and add a different kick over it to sort of
Yes.
change the sound of it a bit, but I don't know where I'd be without that kick sample, to be honest.
So if you go to the deserted island, you desert a desert island, so what's the one record that you want you to bring to that desert island?
Ooh, maybe a couple. Let me just maybe give you three, because I'd be happy with taking any of those three.
Okay.
First one would be record Donuts by Jay Dilla.
Oh wow.
The second one would probably be Modal Soul by Nujabes.
Wow.
And then the third one, I will probably give it to it's a record called Music Has the Right to Children by Boards of Canada.
Oof. Unexpected choice of the last one, I
Yeah.
think. Like you really love the soundscapes of the sound, I think. The soundscape and the ambient, I think, because you mentioned like J Dilla, Nujabes, and the Birds of Canada. I think like you have a more you like soundscape guy rather than a songful guy, I think.
Yeah, I think, well, like I listened to such a wide range of music, and like I said, when I first started producing, it was
Mm.
rock and heavy metal, and then
Mm.
um through my later teens, it was all that like Boards of Canada, Aphex
Mm.
Twin, Square Pusher, um, Quartet, uh, Portishead, those kind of artists, and then but obviously pop and hip hop and
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and I think that's why I like to work on such a wide range of music because as a fan, I listen to
Mm.
such a wide range of music.
This is interesting for me because you are or because this is the major shift, I think, in your musical perspective. You said that you like rock and heavy metal, and later on your teenage years, on your I think like more adult life, you have tend to listen to like Square Pusher, Aphex Twin, and Jadila, and all the experimental stuff. Like, why?
I don't know. I think, I just listen to different playlists, and when stuff comes up that I like, I would save it. I think it was also like, in the later part of my teens, I wanted to listen to stuff that was not, mainstream, and I'd try and like dig up really obscure music and, listen to it, and then, it got to a point where I was genuinely really liked it. Um but yeah, I've gone through multiple stages through my life of listening to different music. But even now, if I go out for a walk,
Mm.
or if I'm on the way to a session, I'll probably be listening to like Jay Dilla or Bonobo or
Ooh.
um, artists like that.
Ooh. Okay, so you already collaborated with Syrup in the past, and it's kind of like shocked me when you are already collaborated with Syrup with Go Track. Correct me if I'm
Hmm?
wrong. Is
Yeah,
it true?
go, yeah.
Yeah, the Go Track. Like, how does it feel to working with Japanese musician?
It's great. Obviously, like I'm fluent in Japanese, so it makes it a little bit easier to
Mm.
work with artists here. And yeah, like I guess when I first started making music in Japan, it was mainly all hip hop.
Mm.
Um, and then I think maybe last year I started to branch out a bit more into pop and R&B. And Syrup was one of the first artists that I worked with outside of the sort of, I guess, hip hop scene, if you will call it that.
Yes.
And yeah, we've been working on a lot of music since, like we're good friends now. I've
Ooh.
just finished working on some upcoming music for him as well. Um, and it's great, like having like a circle of artist friends and producer friends here in Japan. Makes it definitely feel a lot more like a home to base myself out of.
Okay, so you are currently living in Japan, and you already living in Australia. Am I correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah, how does it feel to live in the two world that have a different culture, different people, and different like a society?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, they're very different. I guess for me, because I grew up, mainly in Australia, but I would do a lot
Yes.
of my primary school in Japan as well. And
Oh.
maybe for the last 3 or 4 years, I've been coming to Japan every 2 or 3 months and doing music here. So at this point, I'm so used to the shift between going from Australia and then being in Tokyo. Obviously, me speaking both languages and understanding both cultures from a young age makes it fairly seamless to kind of switch between the two.
Okay, okay, okay. So, can you tell us a little bit about your production on Cat's Eye Track Touch? It's really shocked me. Do.
Yeah. So yeah, that came out. It's been going viral all around the world,
Yes.
which has
Yes,
been
congratulations, buddy. You have make
yeah,
yourself mark on the K-pop scene.
and amazing to see. Yeah, so basically I think at the end of last year, I was really into New Jeans and Eyelid and those types of groups, and I just wanted to see if I could make some K-pop songs. So one of my friends, another artist in Australia called Coda Banks,
Mm,
the two of us, we just started maybe getting into the studio once a week and just
mm,
making different songs. And
mm,
one of the songs that we made just there was Touch.
mm.
And so Coda Banks was friends with Kashmir Cat, who's a big producer
Oh,
out in
uh-huh,
the States, and
uh-huh,
she sent him the demo right after we worked on it,
uh,
and then we're back in the studio the next day, and Kashmir hit us on FaceTime and wanted to like know more about the song and da di da, and then so we sort of started working on the song more with Kashmir Cat, and then from there it kind of eventually
mm.
uh, became KATSEYE's single. They hadn't debuted at the time, but
Yes.
we were like connected with like people at Hype, and uh, they were like, we're working on this upcoming girl group called
Mm,
KATSEYE.
mm,
And then it kind of got decided, maybe in January, it was already decided that it was going to be the main single for
mm.
KATSEYE.
Yes, yes.
So I was like walking around in Tokyo in January with like listening to Touch, and
Mm.
now I come back here. Now I come back here in September, and like I don't have to even put my AirPods in to hear the track everywhere. It's,
Yeah, my lord,
yeah,
that's
it's a weird
achievement.
feeling.
That's an achievement, buddy, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, we've got two last questions. So the first one is like, if you have a time machine and you can go back into time, what time that you want to go back, and what kind of things that you want to say to your old self?
Do I get to come back to the current
Yes,
after I say my thing?
yes. The past
Uh,
time, and you want to tell you to your old self.
yeah, it's hard because I really do think that like, whether it was the right decision or the wrong decision, like all the
Mhm.
decisions have
Mm,
kind of led me to doing what I am
mm,
doing today. I would probably maybe go back to when I like first started making music, 12, 13, and
mhm.
just tell myself to keep putting in the work. And I mean, but also that's kind of funny because I did put in the work and
Yes, yes,
I was
yes,
already
yes, yes.
doing it. So I don't know. Maybe I'll probably just go back to like the 90s and just go see Nirvana live or something.
Okay, so my last question. What's next for Taka Perry?
Well, obviously we've just put out Express and Believe, and those are the two singles, and we're just gearing up to put out
Mm,
the whole record, the whole
mm,
EP now. And so that's going to be coming out very soon. There's going to be some shows. And then outside of that, I'm also working on a lot of different productions for artists here in Japan, Korea,
ooh,
America. So a lot of music coming out, as always. Pretty much all I do.
ooh, busy year right now, this year, right? Busy
Yeah.
year. A busy year from for you. Okay, so that's it for this interview. Thank you very much for Taka Perry for this interview. So if you want to follow all the Taka Perry social media, you can follow him on the Taka Perry, same like your name.
Same, just my name.
Just search his name Taka Perry on the many social platform and the streaming service. You can find him and you can find the track that he already produced. Is like a vibey and new R&B sounds. I think you all of your songs.
Thank you. Thanks for having
Yeah.
me.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for having me on CreativeDisc. And see you guys on the next CreativeDisc exclusive interview. Don't forget to follow CreativeDisc on YouTube, and don't forget to check the creativedisc.com and to check the interview too on the creativedisc.com too. So this is me, Luthfi, and Taka Perry signing off. Thank you very much, and see ya.